Aloha, y'all. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steph, and I am the socially awkward chef. And what's cooking today? We are doing gyros. Super simple to make. You're not even going to believe it. So first, we're going to go over our ingredients. We've got 1 large onion, which we cut up into large pieces. We've got 5 cloves of garlic. You can do 4 or 5. It depends on how large your garlic cloves are. We've got some spices here. We kept it simple, 1 teaspoon each. We've got red pepper flakes. We've got thyme, marjoram, fresh cracked black pepper, rosemary, and oregano. And then we've got some salt, and that's 2 teaspoons. So first things first, we're going to get the onions and the garlic all nice and slushy here in the food processor. Blend it for about 30 seconds, and then we're going to stop it and scrape down the sides. So it's been about 30 seconds, and what I want to do now is scrape down those sides so everything gets blended really well. The goal is to have this super slushy, and I'm going to cover this back up because it is strong. All right, so we let it go for about another 30 seconds. Scraping down the sides again, but I just want to give you an idea of how slushy we want this. So just about liquefied, okay? And then right to this, we're going to add in 1 pound of ground lamb, 1 pound of ground 80/20 beef. We're going to break it up into manageable chunks inside the food processor, and then we're going to blend it again. So now that we've got our ground lamb and our ground beef in the food processor, we are going to just cover it up, and we're going to blend this for 1 minute, and then we're going to scrape down the sides again and keep repeating until it becomes really pasty. Okay, so it's been a minute, and you can see things are coming together. I'm just going to scrape down the sides again. And at this point, I'm just going to clean our spatula off, and I'm going to add all of our spices just straight away to it. And the salt. And I'm going to cover it back up again. Let it go for another 30 seconds to 1 minute. So it has been another minute, and you can see it is looking like mystery meat. And this is actually the consistency that you do want. You want it really incorporated, really pasty. Okay. I'm just going to mix it again just so you can kind of see what that texture is going to look like. And this is not wrong. It looks weird, but it's not wrong. All right, so next, what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up, and we're going to put this into a loaf pan. We've got our gyro meat here. We've got our loaf pan ready. And if you want the dimensions for this particular one, it is a 9 by 5 inch pan, very standard. And what we're going to do is we're going to load up our gyro meat into this. And the object of this game is to not get a lot of air bubbles in there. So we're just going to put it in like this. Spread it around as you're loading it up. And the same thing, spread it edge to edge and really try to make sure we're not going to create any air pockets. And take your time with this. It's all good. Okay. And if your spatula starts getting mucky, just go ahead and wipe it on the side here and scrape it and plop it back in there, because we're going to clean up all these edges before we pop it into the oven. One of the things that you also want to do is we're going to tap it down, because that helps to release any trapped air bubbles, or at least some of them. So we're just going to tap it down, turn it around, give it a few more taps. And now I'm just going to take a paper towel and just clean up these edges so they don't get burned. Okay, so how to clean up an edge? We're just going to take a paper towel, it's a piece of it, fold it up, and we're just going to wipe the edges here, and kind of go inside the loaf pan. Just kind of clean that up. And we're going to pop it into the oven. It's going to be 325 degrees. I did forget to mention to go ahead and preheat that oven while you're prepping this. It takes about 15 minutes or so, maybe 20, depending on your oven settings, to get it to the right temperature. But anyway, 325 for between 50 minutes to 1 hour. And then we're going to pull it out and see what we got. All right, it has been an hour. I just took this out of the oven, and I am about to take its temperature. We want to make sure it is at least 165 in the center. This is going to take a sec. It's getting there. All right, we are good to go. So what we're going to do now is we can take this out. Now we're going to let it rest for 30 to 45 minutes until it is cool enough to handle. And from there, we are going to wrap it up and put it in the fridge. It's been about a half an hour, and I am ready to take this out and get it wrapped up and ready to put in the fridge. So I'm going to set this aside while I take out my handy dandy plastic wrap. I'm just going to bring it back this way, and I'm just using a fish spatula, or you can just use it. I use a slotted spoon if that's easier. I'm just going to drain off some of the fat and the juice. I'm just going to plop it down right there. And from here, what we really want to do is get this wrapped really, really tightly. So now that is tightly wrapped, we're going to put this in the fridge 4 to 6 hours at minimum. It's best if you could put it in there overnight, and then we will go ahead and start to slice it up. Good morning, y'all. It is the next day. We've let our gyro meat rest in the fridge overnight, so it is nice and firm. We have unwrapped it, and we're going to get ready to slice it up. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to start at the end. We want to make thin cuts. So we're looking, look at that, something about yay thick, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to continue to slice the rest of this loaf up, because what we can do is you can use it up, of course, and one night for dinner, or you can portion it out and wrap it up and pop it in the freezer for another time. I just want to show you one more time. When we want thin, we're looking about there. Okay, doesn't have to be paper thin, but we're going to brown this up in a pan when we're ready to eat it. So you don't want it too thick, you don't want it too thin. Now that we've got our gyro meat all sliced and ready to go, if we're not going to be eating all of this at once, it's a great idea to go ahead and pre-portion your slices out. And what's a portion of gyro meat? Maybe 4 to 5 slices. So that's about that much. And we'll just take these and then wrap them up just like this in some plastic wrap, nice and tightly, and then pop it in a Ziploc, put it in the freezer. When you're ready to use it, just go ahead and bring it out and thaw it, and you can go from there. So until our next video, thank you so much for watching. If you don't find this super awkward like I do, give us a like and subscribe if you want to. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.